seconds, just one.
Hello.
Hang on.
Before we start, Rocky's treat this week, and I can blame his mum for this. A rumming rabbit's ear, but he loves them.
There we go. Don't want a bright light.
There we go.
Nom, 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 nom.
Yes. Well, good evening, folks. Here we go again.
Now, while you're doing that, I am going to check something.
Just stomping away on that already. Hope everyone is well. Here we go. I haven't put the comments in. Good evening, Matt. Good evening, Mick. Saw you put your little bit for The Who. Apparently, someone had never heard that album. Good evening, Pulsar. So, this week, what's been going on the channel? Well, lots, as always. It's always busy. 2,629 views, 20 new subscribers this week. It's pretty good. But what have you been listening to? Well, number 3, the Sex Pistols live album ranking, 60 views. Also from Friday, the album review of the new Peter Gabriel album, 116. But topping last week's is the Beatles covers top 10 with Richard at 120. And we have a status quo doing well in the shorts. I put up the album Pile Driver and 174 people watched it and one person didn't like it. How not you not like that album? It's as raw as they come. Anyway, 28 days, 11,144 views, 58 new subscribers in the month. We're keeping that number very steady now. So what have you been watching? Susie and the Banshees at number 3, 163. Very popular. And for some reason, Killing Joke. 168 people in the month have watched Killing Joke.
Yeah.
And number 1, Status Quo. 175. That's amazing.
People are finding your back catalogue.
I know.
Good evening, Matt, Mick, Pulsar, Stephen. Bonsoir, Montreal.
Bonsoir.
By the way, you saying Peter Gabriel, you know he went straight in to number 1 on the album charts for that new album.
He did. Oh, that is nice. I've got a chocolate stout tonight, folks. I mean, a coffee stout, and it's wonderful.
If you can't tell the difference between coffee and chocolate.
Yeah, I know. There we go. So what have you been watching?
Elliot.
Good evening, Elliot. Derek Riggs has now hit the 4,000 mark. So well done to Derek Riggs' Iron Maiden artwork. Slade at 4,245. Status Quo, 7,862. That's just going off the planet still. Top short, still Jean-Michel Jarre. What have I been listening to? Well, at the moment I'm not listening to as much as I normally do because I'm sort of winding down, and I've been sort of getting ready for Christmas. So Dr. Feelgood, we're at 7 of 17. Roger Daltrey, 6 of 10. Lou Reed, 9 of 22. Nick Lowe, 7 of 14. Haken, depends how you want to pronounce it, 5 of 7. And The Creatures is the only new added one, 1 of 4. Completed Timbuktu and Crowded House.
There's one other that has been added.
Which one's that? Have I missed one?
No, you included someone in the schedule for next month, so I've had to lift them out and put them in work in progress. You will have got an email showing you.
Oh, right, okay. I haven't looked at it. There you go.
Put it like this, Gandalf's Fist.
Oh, Gandalf's Fist, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes, they weren't in work in progress, but since you've moved it into the schedule, I had to lift them out.
Right, okay.
Evening,
right.
Zeb.
Good evening, Zeb. So that's what I've been listening to. So I'm going to hand you over to Dave, who's got, of course, the result of last week's Battle Royale.
Right, and then do you want me to go straight into HMD?
Yeah, you might as well go straight into Hatches, Matches, Dispatches.
Okay, right. So last week's Battle Royale, Judas Priest, Mr. Bowie. Unfortunately, Judas Priest got slaughtered in the live vote, 7-9 to 19. But the community, it was an awful lot closer. It was 19 to 23. So overall, Bowie's Diamond Dogs won 42 to 26. This week, status quo so far in the community have 5 votes and The Who have 16. I'm not going to look at the live poll for a bit because I'm watching 3 streams tonight because we're going out on StreamYard, YouTube, and Facebook.
That is a thing, Pulsar, because guess what? I haven't put it up. But so while Dave is doing Hatches and Matches and Dispatches, I will put it up. Thank you, Pulsar.
Don't blame me.
No, it's
Right.
all my fault. Iain cocked up.
Okay. In that case, right.
Yeah,
We
you go
have-
off.
I'll do my thing. We have 10 deaths in music this week, covering all sorts of genres. The 7th of December, we had 3 people passed away. Terry Bocom, an American bluegrass singer, banjo player, and band leader. He was nicknamed the Duke of Drive due to his style of banjo playing. We also lost Teresa Silva Carvalho, a Portuguese singer, and Lorraine DeAngelis. She was known professionally as Lola D or Lola Ameche. The 8th of December, the death was announced of Nidra Beard. She was an American backing singer, and she was in a group, 70s, 80s dance pop group, Dynasty. December, the death was announced of Cale Sane, an American drummer with the band Twitching Tongues. And we had 4 deaths on the 11th. I've got to be careful with this one. Bulelwa Kututana. She's known by her stage name of Zahara. Thank you. She's a South African singer, songwriter, and guitarist. Her music was classified loosely as Afro soul. But as well as singing in English, she sang in the wonderful language called Xhosa. That's Xhosa. And if you hear someone speaking Xhosa, they click at the back of their throat. It's a wonderful language. We also lost Esra Mohawk. She was an American singer-songwriter. She recorded a dozen albums. Best known songs were Suffering Till Suffrage and Interjections, both from Schoolhouse Rock. But 2 of her songs, Change of Heart, was recorded by Cyndi Lauper, and Stronger Than the Wind was recorded by Tina Turner. The death was also announced on the 11th of Richard Buchanan Kerr, an English singer-songwriter and composer. And he co-wrote Mandy, Looks Like We Made It, and Summer in the Night, all of which were hit singles for Barry Manilow. And he wrote I'll Never Love This Way Again for Dionne Warwick. We also lost Jeffrey Foskett, American singer-songwriter and record producer. He was best known as a touring and studio musician for Brian Wilson and the Beach Boys since the 1980s. Apparently, he was described as the Beach Boys' vice principal by its touring members. And then latterly, on the 12th, we lost Ole Christian Paus, a Norwegian singer, songwriter, poet, and author who is widely regarded as the foremost troubadour of the contemporary Norwegian ballad tradition. I love that word, troubadour. Makes me think of Blackadder. Birthdays. We've got 24 birthdays, but there's also 3 birthdays of interest on this day. In 1503, a French astrologer, apothecary, physician, and reputed seer, Nostradamus, was born. In 1919, and it will only be the older generation who remember this, black and white cartoon cat, Felix. He was created on this day. And if she hadn't passed away earlier this year, today would have been the lovely Jane Birkin's 77th birthday. But to those who are still alive, 31 today is Victoria Lauren Kelly. She goes by the stage name of Tori Kelly. She's an American singer-songwriter. 32 today, and Iain already mentioned this person, Offset, who's born Kiara Cephas, American rapper with the group Migos. 35 today is Vanessa Hudgens, American singer and actress, along with Yvonne Mwale, a Zambian Afrofusion jazz and blues singer. 41 today is Anthony Way, an English chorister and classical singer. And if you saw or watched the BBC TV program The Choir, he was the young singer who saved the choir. His voice saved the choir. 43 today is Tata Young, a Thai American singer. 45 today is Martina Filjak, a Croatian concert pianist. Now, she started playing the piano at the age of 5 and gave her first public concert or public performance at the age of 6. It only took her a year. Also 45 today is Radu Sarbu, a Moldovan singer with the group Oza. 48 today is Justin Furstenfeld, an American rock singer, lyricist, guitar player with Blue October and Harvard of the South. 53 today is Anna Maria Jopek, a Polish vocalist, songwriter, and improviser. She represented Poland in the 1997 Eurovision Song Contest, finishing 11th. Also 53 today is Beth Orton, the English folk electronica singer and songwriter. 57 today is Tim Skuld, American, Swedish hard rock bass guitarist, accordion player, and producer. And he's worked with Shogun Messiah, Skuld, and he worked for 6 years from 2002 to 2008 with Marilyn Manson. 59 today is Carl C.J. Snare, an American singer, frontman, and founding member of the hard rock glam metal band Firehouse. 64 today is a Cuban Latin pop singer who goes by the stage name of Franco, but his family name is Iglesias, and as far as I can work out, he's not related to Julio or the rest of that family. 65 today is Jan Dixma, a Dutch rock bassist with the group Weekend at Waikiki, who this year are celebrating 40 years being together. Also 65 is Mike Scott, Scottish rocker, founder of the Waterboys and Blues Incorporated, along with Peter Spider Tracy, an English rock tin whistle player and vocalist with the Pogues. 71 today is John Lurie, an American jazz saxophonist with the group Lounge Lizards. 74 today, and this blew Iain's mind, is Cliff Williams, English rock bassist with AC/DC. 77 today is Jackie McCauley. He's a Northern Irish guitarist and keyboard player, and he's known for his work with the bands Them and Trader Horn. Also 77 is Joyce Vincent Wilson. She was an American pop singer. She was a backing singer. She was part of Dawn, as in Tony Orlando and Dawn. 80 today is Frank Allen, English rock vocalist with The Searchers, famous for Needles and Pins. 91 today, she was born Abigail Francine Lassman, but she's better known as Abbey Lane, American singer and actress. And granddad tonight is Ron Nelson, an American composer of both classical and popular music and a retired music educator. So there's your dispatches and hatches. Your matches, we've got 3 this week. 1780, the US founding father Alexander Hamilton married Elizabeth Schuyler at the Schuyler Mansion in New York. In 1984, Bette Midler married Argentine actor performance artist Martin von Hasselberg, and they're still married. And in 1997, envious of this, with Luc Besson, French film director, married Mila Jovovich. Oh, be still my beating heart. Fortunately, they got divorced in 1999, so there's hope for us yet. Talking point is 1971 this week. So a few events for you. It was a busy year. There was a military coup in Uganda in January, which led to Idi Amin declaring himself president in the February. Also in February, Richard Tricky Dicky Nixon installed the secret taping system in the White House. March saw Bangladesh, which at the time was known as East Pakistan, declare its independence from Pakistan. In July, Henry Kissinger visited the People's Republic of China to negotiate a détente between the US and China. And interestingly, in October, the UN voted to expel Chinese nationalist ruled Taipei and admit the Communist People's Republic of China. November saw the Battle of Garibpur, where Indian troops, aided by the Mukti Bahini and Bengali guerrillas, defeated the Pakistan army. Let's see, music-wise. August, George Harrison's benefit concert for Bangladesh. 2 shows took place in Madison Square Gardens. You had the likes of Bob Dylan, Ringo Starr, Ravi Shankar, Eric Clapton, Billy Preston, and Leon Russell all performed. October saw The French Connection, starring Gene Hackman, Roy Schneider, and Fernando Rey. That premiered and won Best Picture the following year. And in December, Stanley Kubrick's A Clockwork Orange, starring Malcolm McDowell, also premiered. And for once, Belfast, has a claim to fame. March the 5th, Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven was first played live at the Ulster Hall by Plant, Page, Bonham, and John Paul Jones. First live performance. Oh, wow. I missed that one, unfortunately. Carole King, her album Tapestry went to #1 on the US album charts for 15 weeks. It took a long time to get this through Iain's thick skull, but in October the 8th, John Lennon released his mega hit single, Imagine. And I gave him every clue possible except saying Imagine. Sport, Joe Frazier ended Muhammad Ali's 31 fight winning streak at Madison Square Garden, and he retained the heavyweight boxing title. The match was called the Fight of the Century at the time. And unfortunately, in June of 1971, the crew of the Russian space mission Soyuz 11 were found dead on arrival back on Earth. And to date, they are the only people to die in space. So that's your hatches, matches, dispatches, trivia, and other rubbish. Have you got it?
I am.
Sorted?
Yeah. I'm ready to go.
Delayed and prevaricated as long as I could. Oh, Leon, I wouldn't say that. Quote all the way, yes, you may be, but unfortunately the voting seems to be going the other way round. Anyway, all right, let's add this to stage and make you full screen, and off you go for next week.
Okay, this is what we're doing next week. It's the week before Christmas. So it's a busy old week. We're going to start off with part 4 of the Steve Hillage story, and we're going to look at his solo stuff, which is pretty good. I'm looking forward to that one. Classic album. We have got a great album from the brilliant Joe Jackson and his wonderful album, Night and Day. Next week, we've got Ladies' Day a week early because of Christmas. We weren't going to miss out on a bit of Annie Lennox studio albums. And my top 10 songs by the wonderful singer Alison Moyet. Couldn't miss out on that. Got a bit of American progressive metal rock for the marathon. Fate's Warning. What a good band. Very consistent throughout their long career. Got another battle next week. This is, if I get this right, this is Jimmy Barnes, and he's gone for Technique by New Order. And Ryan has gone, I think it's Ryan that's gone with Sign of the Times, Prince. And next week it's a producer. And we're going to look at the production of Mr. Brian Eno. Not the stuff he played on, because there's so much he's played on, but we're just concentrating on the ones that he was sitting in front of the desk doing the business. Next Friday, got a live album ranking of one of the finest southern rock bands, Molly Hatchet. And funny enough, we're doing an album that someone asked, will you do a review of the album? And I said, it's coming up soon. It's coming up on next Friday. We're going to look at the one and only album by the very talented Jeff Buckley, who's tragically lost his life. But he left us with one great album. Okay, next Saturday, got a bit of a double header. Do you remember when Rob Walker set me to do my top 100 bands? Well, we've got part number 1 next Saturday, where I'm going to count down 100 to 76. And also a very festive show with Richard, where we're going to look at number 1s at Christmas, but the ones that had nothing to do with Christmas. So it's non-Christmas number 1s. And for 1 week only, we've got a Sunday, and we've got part 2 of the top 100 albums, where I'm going to be counting down number 75 to 51. So that's a busy old week and an interesting week. So I'm done for that bit, so I can come off there. I can come back in there. Anyway, what have we got up on here at the moment? Well, as you can see, there's the picture in the background. Where am I this week? Good evening, Mike. Where am I this week?
And I'll give you a clue. It's not in the Mediterranean. It's
not the Med this week. And a bonus point, where am I actually taking this picture from? And then, of course, we've got the
lyrics.
Lyrics. Dave took a thing. Yeah, thank you, Bolsar. Really good lineup. So I'm going to show some albums later for 1971, but I'm going to do the usual thing. I'm going to show you some of the movies that I've got that come out then. Who won last week's battle? It was Richard and Diamond Dogs.
Yes.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, well done, Pulsar.
Absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
So all you got to guess where that picture's taken, and it's not one out of Google either. I took that. Anyway, I'm going to show you some of the films first before we get people up. So 1971, another war film come out. You know I like my war films, and it's one that gets forgotten about, and I love this one. It's Richard Burton in Raid on Rommel. Excellent film. Really like that. It was a Bond year, and it was the last time that Sean Connery played 007 officially in Diamonds Forever. And my favourite characters, as we all know, Mr. Kit and Mr. Wint. I love them characters. Absolutely killer.
Woo.
Yeah, right at the end. Or if man was meant to fly, Mr. Kit,
yes,
he would have given us wings. A double feature of two films from Frankie Howard. One was the brilliant Up Pompeii, and then they had Up the Chastity Belt, which was set in medieval times, and that's hilarious. Also, a lot of TV series, British TV series, made films. 1971 saw the debut of the first On the Buses movie. which was very, very big. One of the biggest selling films in this country. Absolutely hilarious. Also, another great TV show had its first movie, and it's the wonderful Dad's Army movie. I just can't get enough of that.
How would you compare it to the latest version?
This wins every day.
Yeah, I thought so.
And the first installment of Make My Day, Punk, came out. The original Dirty Harry film. As you can see, I've got all the Dirty Harry. I just love Dirty Harry. And also in 1971, a great British institute started broadcasting on the BBC. So it ran all the way through to 1987. And it's the wonderful.
Good evening from him.
Richard and I sort of catchphrase the end of that at the end of our videos. It's the wonderful Two Ronnies. And that is the
lot.
The lot. Yeah, I love the Two Ronnies. I grew up on the Two Ronnies, and they make me laugh, even to this day. Some of their classics, the Mastermind sketch, answering the questions before.
Sure.
Of course, there's Four Candles, which is just genius. Written by Gerald Wiley.
Yes.
Who
was actually.
Yeah.
Well, so, you heard the tale about they all wondered who this Gerald Wiley was, and eventually there was an invitation to dinner across the road from the BBC, and Gerald Wiley was going to be there. They were at the table, sat down, and Ronnie stood up and said, "It's me." And said, sit down. Enough joking around. They didn't believe it, even though he stood up and admitted, "It is me."
So the link's up there. So if you want to come up, the Two Ronnies, just absolutely brilliant. But I mean, let's go back to this one.
You had to be born at the time, Leon.
Yeah, you needed to be there at the time. I mean, a lot of people.
It was all miniskirts.
But it was. They was very, very popular in the 70s.
It was all double entendre and legs and bosoms and whatnot.
Yeah.
Seaside postcard humour.
Yeah. But I've had a Christmas card from my mate Lee this week, and this year he's gone really, really good. Now, over here in the UK, we have a thing called the Radio Times. And he's made some Christmas cards up, and he had to send me. I don't know if you can see that, but that's one of the Radio Times, and on the front was the Two Ronnies and Eric and Ernie.
That was a rarity. Get those four on screen at the same time.
Yeah, although they were rivals, they were actually all good friends, believe it or not. So let's make me small again. So that's some good.
Your language was a giggle. Yes,
very good thing. So let's get some people up here and showing albums of 1971.
I am going to. No, you have to take off your next week. I can't take that off.
Oh,
there we go. So let's have a look.
Yeah, so we're come the middle of January, we'll be finishing round 1 of Battle Royale. So the week in between, before we start the second round, we're gonna Dave and I are gonna do a review of round 1, and we're gonna tell you how we would have voted if we would have voted. So that will be interesting. And that will be
not going to be many. There's not going to be many dire revelations.
No. Oh, there we go. Mary is watching it at an airport. Well, it's amazing where people watch this live stream. we have people watching it in his local. Alan used to watch it from his takeaway or his Indian restaurant.
That's right. Yes.
So airports all over the place, people watch this. So
Actually, we haven't heard from him in a long time.
yeah, well, there is a reason, and I'll tell you offline.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, so that's the link. It's in there. So come up and share your memories of 71, or just come and say hello. And don't forget, in between Christmas and New Year, we've got in the middle party where we're going to have a bit of fun. It's going to be more of a party atmosphere as well. But going back to Dave, he's actually going to be making his first video on the channel. But you've never ever done all you've done is live streams.
Yeah.
You've never ever took part in a video. And when is the draw for the second round? We did write it down, didn't we?
Hang on, I need to bring up another document so I can tell you that the draw is going to be. We're doing it on a Thursday.
So we're not doing the draw on.
No, we're doing that there. It's on the 27th. Saturday, the 27th of January.
And we'll be doing it after the football was finished. So if you want to watch your football, you won't miss it. So round about what do we reckon? About 7 o'clock. After people have time to have their tea.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. And this time I won't cock it up. I promise I will not cock it up this time.
Let's have a look. Sorry, I'm bouncing between screens at the moment. I'm checking just in case there's been something cut. Now, I can see comments that have been made in StreamYard coming up on the Facebook page, but I haven't seen anyone on Facebook making any comments. So,
okay, so yeah. So we got lots coming up. I mean, Christmas Day, you've got part 3 of and part 4 on Boxing Day of my 100. And then there's lots of little things going on for the rest of that week. And we will start up again upon 1st of January, which is the rebrand day as well. So lots going on. Oh, the mix getting in there. That's true. It was released in 1971, and it was in Battle Royale. Oh, excellent, Ramon. You always show some great albums, anyway. I was listening to a great live album today, but I'm not going to tell you what it was. All I'll say, it is a prog album, and it's probably one of the best live prog albums. It was recorded at Carnegie Hall in 1976. Those who know what I was listening to.
Someone left a comment in the community channel underneath the Battle Royale. I think, would it be fair to put that comment up, or just to say, if you want to see what someone said about their choice of album for the Battle Royale, go and look at the comment.
Yeah, go look at the community, yes.
Yeah,
I was quite shocked and stunned, actually.
Because if we post it up in chat, it's doing a disservice to the opposition because they haven't posted any comment.
1971 was a banner year for a great album releases. Yeah, there was some great. I think between 70 and 74, you had some absolute classics.
I'd go as far as 75.
Once we got a few people up, I will show you my picks for 1971. I can join in now, and as I said last week, I'm in the community properly because I'm showing records. Yes. So, who wants to come up?
Oh, don't leave us hanging.
I know a lot of people are probably busy doing other things at the moment.
I mean, I'm busy pouring myself a glass of red wine. Oh, in there. Here we
Good
go.
evening,
Good
Mike.
evening, Mike.
Hope you've sorted out. Oh, that's a better picture.
Yeah.
After
Hang on.
last week,
Yeah. I don't know what happened last week.
yeah, I was watching it back. I'll watch it. I am sad. I'll watch the live stream back on a Sunday just to see if there's anything.
How many cock-ups he made?
How many cock-ups I made? Yeah. And you kept breaking up. You was like in space.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, because when you were saying that, it was okay from my end. So
Yes.
I don't know.
Atmospherics.
Mm.
Well,
Yeah.
luckily, after you had all gone, for people who don't know, when we switch off, we don't all switch off. We have a bit of a chit chat, don't we, Mike?
We do.
Bonsoir,
Yeah.
Ronald.
Hi there.
Ramon,
Hi everyone.
good evening, mate.
Good
We
evening.
always have a bit of a chat, and I finished it, and me and Dave were just having a thing, and all of a sudden we had a complete blackout, not just in my flat. The street lights went out, everything went dark for about 3 or 4 minutes.
All
So
right.
we're sitting here in the dark, and then everything come back on. But I don't know what happened. So that would have been a bit of happened when we were on live.
Yeah, fingers crossed, Dave.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fingers crossed.
that happened to you post live stream last week. Today it happened to me pre-live stream.
Let's
we were
chat
discussing
away
numbers.
on She That Can't Be Spoken To, and
Bonk.
bunk. Anyway, I'll kick off this week on the showing albums from 71.
Oh, okay.
So
There you go.
okay, so we're going to start off with probably one of my favourite bands of all time. Bit of Fireball from Deep Purple, with the great mule on here. Anyone's Door to Demon's Eye. I love that track. That is just a great album. Another one from 1971. Bit of Hunky Dory. Bit of Changes, Oh Pretty Things. Life on Mars is on this, of course. What a fabulous album that is. We even got more this week. How's about the very first album from them three little boys from Texas?
Yeah.
It just called ZZ
First
Top's
album.
first album.
Yeah.
And there's a picture of them on the back.
They look nothing like what we became used to.
Look at Billy Gibbons. He looks like he could be a preacher.
Yeah.
And Dusty, well, he looks weird without a long beard. The only one you really recognise is Frank.
Yeah. Because he doesn't have a beard.
He doesn't have a beard. And of course, some legendary band put out this album.
Who never heard of them?
No.
Never.
No.
No.
This featured a brand new drummer called Phil Collins. Wonder what happened to him. And a great guitarist called Steve Hackett. And they brought us Harold the Barrel. I just love that. And I love this album cover. It's just brilliant. And also, another little band from the UK brought out a certain album called Medal, which has got the wonderful echoes on it. And one of these days, this is still a brilliant album. I don't like Seamus, though.
Yeah. I was going to show that one, Ian. I was going to show that, and I was going to say the same thing. Seamus ruins the mood of the whole album.
Well, once I get it on the thing, when I've got my new record player, I'll put it on and I can see if I can get Rocky howling. Because he hates it.
He does. He hates it.
He doesn't like it. He starts barking at it. Talking of Rocky, we got to tell him this one, Dave. We were talking on She That We Can't Be Mentioned, but Rocky was barking at something, and he could hear himself
He started having an argument with himself.
He started having an argument with himself. It was absolutely priceless. Anyway, there's my little selections for 1971.
Who's
very
going to have a
good.
go?
Yeah, I mean, nursery crime.
Am I going to go next? Or do
Yeah,
you
sure.
Rob?
You
No.
go, Mike.
You go, Mike.
Okay.
Okay,
Right,
okay. And good evening, Record Hound.
Right, yeah. Well, there you go. There's metal.
I've seen
Yeah.
that before somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was going to mention Fearless, which I really love. You know, because you've got that sound of the football crowd that fades in and out throughout the track, and then at the end, you know, the song fades out, and you've got the cops singing "You'll Never Walk Alone," which I really like for some reason. Right. Okay. One of my favourites, Sandy Denny.
Oh,
Oh.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is absolutely fantastic. You know, the North Star, Grassman and the Ravens is just an absolutely superb album. I think this is Sandy Denny at her absolute best. You know, so I just had to show that.
Yeah, and she looked good in 1971, didn't she? Herself.
Yeah.
Oh, she's gorgeous.
Yeah. And next up, this is a band that my son just hates them. Van der Graaf Generator. He can't understand why I would ever listen to them. And this is Pawn Hearts. It's got 3 tracks on it. On side A, you've got the magnificent Plague of Lighthouse Keepers.
That is a great.
Yeah, and then you've got 2 tracks on B side, which is Lemmings and Man Erg or Man EIG. I'm not really sure. And there you go. It's on the pink label, Charisma.
Ooh, beautiful.
Yeah. So this is a really good copy. So I've had it absolutely donkey's years. So that's that one. And then another prog classic, the greatest Canterbury record ever, Caravan in the Land of Grey and Pink. This is a fairly recent reissue, but you've got. I mean, I love side 2. You've got your 9 Feet Underground, which is you know, the whole of side 2, but it's made up of sort of about how many 8 sort of sub sort of tracks, and then you got the sort of whimsical Golf Girl, you know, which sets off side 1, and of course the title track. But I absolutely love this album, always have done, and there you go. Right, now here's a French album. And,
I know that. Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Really good album.
L.D. Nelson, and the young lady on the front cover, believe it or not, it's Jane Birkin in a red wig.
Yeah.
And when this photograph was taken, she was pregnant with her daughter Charlotte, who obviously, you know, we know went on to be a great actress and singer in her own right.
Yeah.
You know, this is meant to be a concept album of sorts, but I'm not really too sure about it. Maybe there's somebody that knows this album that can understand the lyrics a lot better than I do. But this is again, it's a reissue, and it's got a second LP, which is various tracks from the sessions from recording that.
That's a great album.
Yeah, and now somebody who is a real favourite of this live stream, and it's the king of Afrobeat himself, Fela Kuti, and this is Open and Close.
Oh, it's one of my favourite albums.
Yeah, it's an absolutely wonderful album, isn't it? And this was a record store day release about I don't know, 3 years ago, I suppose, and I just had to have it. I think he's absolutely fantastic. So there you go. Right, next one up. Somebody who I sort of tend to slag off a little bit, mainly because too many people treat this guy as though he's a saint in the violin community, and it's Paul McCartney. But you know, some of his early albums are absolutely brilliant, and this is my favourite McCartney album.
Tis mine.
So there it is. It's on the. And get it out. Obviously, it's on Apple, and this is an original copy, and I've looked after it over the years. So there you go. That's and there. But you know, I mean, you probably don't need telling what's on here, but you know, starts off Too Many People, and then you've got Uncle Albert, and that fades into Admiral Halsey, you know, which is really good. Monkberry Moon Delight, which is quite sort of heavy for McCartney, is another one I love. And yeah, I mean the whole album I think is absolutely brilliant. So that's a bit of McCartney. Right, now this one, and it's Traffic. Ooh. And there you go. The Low Spark of the High Heel Boys, and it's in this sort of like weird 3D effect cover.
Yeah, it's very strange cover, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's sort of meant to look like a cube, and it is quite a good optical illusion, really. I mean, all they've done is just you know, cut two of the opposite corners off. So the inner sleeve, of course, is the you know. It's cut off as well, you know, to fit it in there. And there you go, it's on the Island label. I think this one was probably released mid-70s. This press. And just a couple more to go. Doors, LA Woman. This is my favourite Doors album, probably because it was the first Doors album that I actually ever sort of listened to. The first one I bought, but. You know, Changeling, Love Her Madly, Been Down So Long, Cast Is By My Window, the brilliant sort of LA Woman, and then you get onto side 2, America, Hyacinth House, Crawling King Snake, The Wasp, and then the beautiful Rise of the Storm. And
it's the first Doors album to have an actual bass player on it.
Is it really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I hadn't realised.
Yeah, it's the first one that's credited with the bass player.
All right. And just one more to show you that you probably don't know, but this is an absolute brilliant folk-side classic. Mice and Rats in the Loft by Jan Dukes de Grey. And they're from Leeds. And I've had this on CD for many, many years. And then Rob Ison showed it on his show. And I just happened to mention that I've been after it. And he told me that they were going for a tenner on Amazon, so I picked it up. So there you go. So just before we go back, I was listening to a record today, and it's got a lyric relating to 1971, and I wonder if anybody knows what it is. It's in 71, all the people come, lost a few seats, but it was all in fun. Take the mick out of Top of the Pops. We play better than they do. It was a single. I think it was a non-album single for these people. Richard McCook would get it, but then he always doesn't. He? But anyway, just have a think about that. See if you know what it is.
What was the lyric again?
Sorry?
What was it again in 1971?
It says in 71, the people will come, bust a few seats, but it was all in fun. Take the mick out of Top of the Pops. We play better than they do.
It's going to be someone like Roxy Music.
Yeah, it's a British band, obviously, because it's actually Top of the Pops.
Yeah. It's going to be someone like that. T-Rex. It's got to be something like that.
Anyway, I'll leave that one
excellent.
hanging.
Anyway, before you start, Ramold, just want to note that Ramold and myself were part of George Borden's 24-hour live stream.
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, we went and showed support. I couldn't do it. He looked so fresh, though. Yeah, when I came in, he looked so fresh. I don't know if it was the alcohol keeping him alive. But yeah, it was quite a good thing. Yeah, Mott the Hoople.
Yep.
Someone's put, Leon Cowes
Yeah.
from Mott the Hoople.
Yeah.
Anyway, what have you got?
Iain,
for
Ian,
Ramold?
did you see that request comment from Marius?
Yeah, I have seen it. I'll see what I can do for you, mate. I'll see what I can do.
Okay,
Anyway.
Ramold.
So,
There you go.
1971. First one.
Front
I
and
only show.
center.
I usually show only UK band. Now I try to include some American band as well. So this is Mountain.
Good back.
Yeah,
Nantucket
very,
Sleigh Ride.
very nice cover. Nantucket Slade Ride. So Felix Pappalardi, Leslie West. US band. They were in Woodstock, even though they don't appear in the movie. I think they had an issue with contract issues. Next one is Dust. Mark Bell, the drums, was later to join the Ramones, I guess.
Ah,
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, really
Yeah,
brilliant album. Yeah. This is Stack Waddy. This is English blues from Cheshire, I guess.
Yeah, he's up in Cheshire, yeah.
They made another album called Bugger Off and then disappear for some reason. On to the next.
Oh,
yeah.
Deuce.
I've seen Rory Gallagher. He's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not their most famous album, but I really like that one. Muswell Hillbillies. Releasing
I love
71.
that. That is just
Oh, yes.
that's about London.
Yeah, that's a great album.
Yeah, it is. It is really, and you can really feel the vibe in London, I guess.
That's about anywhere in England at the time.
Yeah, I like the gap between the two generations. You have these young people with long hair, and
Yeah.
other people that like watching.
Yeah. That's a typical London pub, that is.
Yeah.
I think there's a 2 or 3 you go in there today, Mark, and it's still like it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Some glam rock.
Oh yes.
Oh,
T-Rex, Electric
Yeah, yeah,
Warrior.
yeah.
I grew up with that record. I grew up listening to that tracks, and I know every nook and cranny on that one. Something for the other Michael, the Michael in Japan, with the eye.
Yeah, lovely.
What the Opal. Beggars Opera,
Oh, what a great band.
Frogs from Scotland. They
Weird
had
and wonderful.
like ALP-ish. They had a mellotron player, an organ player as well. Now a band they released 2 albums in 1971.
Oh, you're right. Hey,
You're right,
Look at
Helmut,
Yourself.
That's a great album.
And on the same year, they released Salisbury as well.
Salisbury is very
Salisbury.
underrated.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like the one you showed earlier. This is you chose that one too, probably because it was released between In Rock and Machine Head. So you already showed that one too, Mike.
yeah.
Something wrong with showing Ram.
Now, Yes also released 2 albums in 1971, starting with that one.
Yeah.
The Yes album. They still had Tony Kaye on keyboard. First one with Steve Hackett. This is their 3rd album. And later in the year, they made that masterpiece with Rick Wakeman, Fragile. Heart of the Sunrise is probably one of my favorite prog. Yeah, along with Supper's Ready. I had to take that one too. Yeah,
Of course.
of course. We're still in the prog rock genre.
Targus.
Tarkus,
Oh,
yeah,
lovely.
Emerson, Lake and Palmer. This is a French copy I got, released on the Manticore label. Another great prog album, Gentle
Oh,
Giant,
yes.
And acquiring the
Acquiring
taste.
the Taste, and
Brilliant.
that song "Wreck" is my favorite sailor song. If I can imagine singing that song in my yacht. If I had a yacht, I don't have one. Caravan, of course.
Graham Pinkerton.
Yeah.
Can we call that jazz fusion prog? Because it's not very prog like Yes or Genesis.
I think it's because it's Canterbury scene. The Canterbury scene was in its own stratosphere.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. Because you got people like Soft Machine,
yeah.
associated with the Canterbury scene as well. Yeah, who were much more sort of jazzy than Caravan.
That one
Oh, what a great album!
with the people from the Faces playing on that album. Rod Stewart. Every picture there's a story. Yes. Metal. Everyone.
Yeah, we were all going to show that.
Why everyone took that album?
Yeah.
And last but not least, a very underrated album, a very underrated band. We never talk about that on the VCU. Never. Yeah, this is
Sorry, who's that by?
blues hard rock from obscure.
Yeah, they don't even put the name of the album on it, do they? They're terrible.
Yeah, they made that mistake. Yeah, this is a French press. Yeah, I got it. So this is it.
Oh, brilliant! Brilliant.
Some great albums.
Yeah. Ohio gozaimasu.
Ohio gozaimasu. Good evening, Michael. All the way from Japan. How are we?
We're good. We're very good. Early morning. Sun will be coming up shortly. But
it's lovely that on this stream we get the sun coming up.
No, you're lying. So the sun will be coming down. You're lying.
Well,
anyway.
as it goes down on your side, it's coming up on his side.
Yeah.
We should swap you around.
So 1971.
1971. We better make you big if you're gonna.
I brought my A game.
Oh, right. I always knew you would.
So first, what I'm going to show is it's not a great record. In fact, it fills bargain bins everywhere in Japan. But when it came out, the FM disc jockeys in New York really pushed it, and it's kind of prog, and I guess it's kind of Canterbury, it's kind of folk, but it's a concept record, and it's Babacom Lee. And this is my original copy. Bought it in 1971. It's a UK pressing, and it's got a booklet inside. And it's a story. It's a story of a guy who was accused of murdering the woman that he was staying with. And what's special about the story, and I guess in British law, is that if you can't successfully succeed in hanging a man 3 times, you have to let them go. And that's what happened in this story. They couldn't hang him. He was the man they couldn't hang because he claimed he was innocent, and everybody thought he was guilty. It's Babacom Lee. And great fiddle playing, and there's very little evidence of them. I think there's some clips on YouTube on some TV shows, but that's it. I don't think they ever went to the States and performed it live.
Yeah, I think it was a radio program to start with, I think, for the BBC. I could be wrong. But I've got a feeling that's what it was. Yeah.
Maybe they had a story idea and they developed it, or maybe they tested it out on the BBC, Oh, you're saying the clip is from the BBC. You're right. Most likely, you're right. Yeah, got it. The second one is the debut of Little Feat, and this is the only Little Feat record that I own. I'm one of those fans that just I don't care for anything else that they did afterwards. It's too college rock for me, too beer bong style, too party. But this is just it's a very sophisticated record, and it's got these are the original members: Bill Payne, this guy Roy Estrada. Oops, I hate when this happens. Roy Estrada. He was in the Mothers of Invention, and he's currently serving hard time for pedophilia. He's a pedophile and a serial pedophile, unfortunately. And little fun fact about Little Feat, and also another fun fact about Little Feat is that they were covered by. This record was covered by the Golden Palominos. Sid Straw is the vocalist, and they do both I've Been the One and Brides of Jesus from this record, and they're incredible covers, just absolutely sublime. My next one is by British fellow, and here's another one. Not many people talk about this record. They never say they like it, and I've whittled down my collection of this guy to just a couple of records, and this is the best one, Rough and Ready by Jeff Beck. And this is hard driving funk, soul, rock. He's got Bob Tench on vocals, Cozy Powell on drums, and they really saved money on the front and back cover, didn't they? Front and back cover is the same as the front cover. That was a joke. Any lovers of Rough and Ready? I don't hear any.
I like that album.
Yeah.
I made a video about this. It's a jazz record, Elegy by the Nice, covered by Hypnosis. Half the record was recorded at the Fillmore Auditoriums in New York, and the other half are studios. They have a long version of America on this, which I don't love, but they do My Back Pages from Dylan, Hang On to a Dream by Tim Horton. That's just amazing. I recommend this record. I have a video on it. Check it out. American, Lee Michaels, Fifth. A lot of people like one song on this record. Can I Get a Witness is the smoker on this record. All organ and drums. Lee Michaels. He's out of the business, not recording anymore. Jazz fusion, Mahavishnu Orchestra, Intermounting Flame. I actually saw their debut show in New York City at the Cafe Ogogo, and John McLaughlin the entire show just smiled at the audience, just the way he does. He smiles at the audience. And the reason why I got in those days, they didn't card children. I mean, if you didn't have to be accompanied by an adult. If you paid the ticket, you can get in and order a soft drink. You just couldn't order alcohol. And I was a freshman in high school. My friend up the street was into music also, and somehow we stayed at my aunt's house in Manhattan and saw the show. John Lee Hooker opened for them, and I've been hooked on this record ever since. It's been in my collection for 50 years. Love that record. Long Player by the Faces. This has got a song on it called Bad and Ruin that was featured on Sopranos. It was a scene where Steve Buscemi shoots a man and his lover in the car. And it's the first time Bad and Ruin was ever featured on American TV. Horrible cover. I mean, look at it. You can't even read it. It's all. You can't read the text. Yeah, it's my favorite Faces record. My favorite, bar none. Great
album, lousy cover.
Great album. Out of King Crimson, McDonald and Giles. One of them recently died, and here they are with their two girlfriends. One of them got the better girlfriend. I think he got the better girlfriend. This is a record. It's straight out of King Crimson. It's kind of like it's like a better version of In the Wake of Poseidon. Beautiful inside jacket. This is a Japanese pressing. This is a record that has the second side is a single song that is called Birdman. That is excellent. Fantastic percussion on this record because the drummer is from King Crimson production. That was Giles, I believe, or McDonald. My last two. This is Stevie Vinyl Cupboard's favorite artist, Todd
Of course.
Rundgren. He begged me to show this. He said, Michael, you only have a slot for 10. Please include Todd Rundgren. I said, Stevie, of course. I will do it for you.
2 weeks on the trot as well, Michael. You've been too good to him.
I know. The graphics on this record were not that special, but they were done by Milton Glaser, who also did that famous Bob Dylan Rainbow cover. What's he say? It says
Oh, dearie me.
Todd Rundgren. And my last one is a special record. And this goes out to somebody special. And it's Elton John, Friends. And this record's a soundtrack, and of course the title track Friends is the best song. I think he's got one other song called Can I Put You On? The rest of it is all instrumental and not that great. Friends, the soundtrack song, is the best song. And I was thinking, we're seeing so much camaraderie and so much bridge building in the vinyl community. And you look at these two kids and they're just snogging and you see so much love. And I was just thinking, who does this remind you of like recent love? And that's who? Rob Walker and Rachel. Thank you very much.
Oh, good one.
Great relation.
Yeah, good stuff.
Oh,
Hello, Stevie.
Can you hear me all right?
we can hear you loud and clear.
That was a disgrace. Absolute disgrace. A disgrace to the look. Tom, I was reading up today about Tom Rundgren, and he said I was so in his private diary. He said I was so disappointed, but in his contract he had he could take control of the cover. So he said, I'm so disappointed in this album. I want a cover where I'm at the piano and I'm going to hang myself. That's what I think of my own songwriting.
I didn't know. You want a copy?
Good evening, folks. Anyway,
Good evening.
Yeah, hi, Stevie.
Hi, Steve.
Anyway, enjoyed your Timoth record shop video, Stevie.
oh, did you?
That was looks a great shop.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's a bit overpriced. Oh, I can't hear anything. Yeah, it's a bit overpriced, didn't you think?
I think it was a bit strangely priced, actually.
Yeah.
And I think this is happening quite a lot. I don't know if it's just the UK, but Beatles albums, you see so many of them, but they always seem to be quite expensive. And just sort of looking at what you were flicking through, Stevie, sort of Rolling Stones, The Who, Beatles all seem to be a bit pricey. But there were some real bargains in there from other bands, I thought.
I didn't really do it justice because there was quite a lot of other things in the bins.
Yeah.
But I just didn't have time, so I need to go back properly. So it's just like a taster. But I don't think it is the best record shop in Devon. I think actually Ramold's was actually in the best record shop in Devon, the one down in Plymouth.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, that. I mean, it's a very small shop, but you can just go around. You can find anything you want. Really, he's got a good supply. Anyway, I don't think I don't like this section really, because really I just want it to get to the 80s, so that we can just get rid of Michael. Phase Michael out. But I don't think anybody will have shown this before.
No.
Oh, no.
A bit late, so yeah. So that's so this was $5 from America. This is slight VG. I think a dog had the vinyl's actually very clear, but I think a dog had the cover or something. But it was in $5, and then I don't suppose anybody showed this either. No. But I'd like to thank you all. I'd like to thank you all for just like the preamble, because as we know, there was only one record really in 1971. Yeah. And that features today. So this is the only record. The rest of it is like the side salad. And Todd Rundgren is one of the crisps that's fallen off the table onto the floor and is now being licked by the dog. Anyway, so this is a Bilbo version. This is a original Bilbo, but it's got a scratch on it. But I've got another $5 one. But that's me anyway. So don't make me big, for God's sake.
Well, there's a bit of free publicity for Mick showing that. Apparently, you'll love this one, Stevie. Someone says, I've had Gone with Quo because I've never heard that Who album.
No, that's somebody just winding you up, I think.
Yeah.
Is it Leon Cave? Was he a drummer with the Quo or something?
Leon Cave is, I can't say that is the Quo drummer.
Did he play with what's his face?
He played with Francis Rossi as well.
Yeah.
If it is Leon Cave, I'm on it.
Well,
I
don't think it is, Ian. I don't want to burst your
I'd be
bubble.
honest if it was. But I did have a comment. There was a picture on for my Facebook of Phil Collins, Mike, and Tony sitting in a bus listening to something, and people said, "What are they listening to?" And someone said they're all admiring the drumming on PG3. Obviously, it was Phil Collins, and I put my comment. I put they're thinking, "God, this is far better than Abacab." I got a like from the official Phil Collins page. So someone on the official Phil Collins page gave me a love heart on Facebook.
I've also got. Hang on. I've also got the unboxing of the official unboxing of. You know when everybody was buying the box set. If you make me big. This is all I could afford. £6.50. That was from the Uncut magazine, but I did the live unboxing. So yeah. So anyway, okay. How are you, Michael? Are you all right? I haven't spoken to you recently.
I'm doing fine, Stevie. Thank you for asking.
Are those Japanese debt collectors still after you?
Everything's all squared away.
All right, fine, okay.
Jolly good. Let's see what any comments I've missed while I've been listening to that. Oh, wonderful banter. I think we've got it covered. Anyway,
So
let's talk about this again, shall we?
yes, let's. Great
Let's
record.
have a look at one of the best albums of 1970.
Oh Jesus! I've come on at the wrong time. I can see that. I'm going to come back at the 80s. All right.
Okay. Well, come on, you can't miss out on great tracks like Harold the Barrel.
Not at all. Do you know that they sang that at the same time, Ian? That Peter and Phil Collins sang that song together in unison for the little bit over 2 minutes. It's two voices.
Really? I didn't know that. Yeah.
Probably one of the reasons why they never did it live, because it was so difficult to do. You won't
I'm
see it on
struggling to
online.
care.
What's that?
I'm struggling to care.
Yeah, well, there you are, Stevie. Here's another one.
Oh Jesus!
Stevie, is the car off the?
Did
you get your car back?
Yeah, I must apologise for my bad mood. I've just been driven crazy the last 2 weeks. Oh, for God's sake, what's wrong with you people? Stop it! I'm having
there for you, Steve. We can all show this one.
I think the Mellotron solo on Seven Stones is one of the best Mellotron solo ever.
Yeah.
I agree.
That is the gem of the track, the hidden track on there, the deep cut track from that album. Ramon, you're absolutely right. Is Seven Stones. Everyone knows everything else, the Fountains of Moses, the musical backs, but no one talks about the Seven Stones, and it is probably some of the best Mellotron sitting.
Yeah.
Even before we got Watch of the Skies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Which they-
anyway, Ian, do we have to make way for the two people because you've got the Battle Royale?
No, they're not.
Coming
No,
up. They're both coming on today, aren't they?
Oh no.
No.
What do you mean? They have to.
Yeah, I'd love to meet the mysterious Dark Lord.
Yes, I would as well.
This is the
Yeah.
guy that's got 2 nominations and he didn't come and do the last one, so he's got a.
Yeah.
I mean, this is who's
And-
next.
Nobody knows who he is.
Is it
And
getting hot
Forrester.
here?
The only connection I've got with this person, I worked with a young lady back in blah, 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 and she moved to a place called Hungerford.
Intriguing.
And
Mhm.
apparently she recognised me on the channel.
Hmm?
Oh, what with you?
That's quite a
So there you
backstory.
Well, we worked in a care home. Hang on, there's a bit of thing from Record On. Did you know that Watch of the Skies and Willow Farm were released as a single? Apparently, they're rarest.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I recently read that Watcher of the Skies was composed when they were in Italy, when they had their first huge success in Italy. They were so amazed to see Italian people crazy about prog stuff, and so they say, "Hey, we are like extraterrestrial. We are Watcher of the Skies," and
Wow.
they all
Didn't know
started. Yeah,
Yeah, there's a story that I think it's Phil Collins that says they couldn't believe when they were touring with Nursery Crime that when that was in Italy, they were these long-haired Italians with caftan coats, clutched with Nursery Crime under their arms, and they used to sit down with it clutched and run. He just couldn't get over it, and they were so big in Italy, Genesis, at the time. But that's just one of them weird stories, isn't it? That's a bit like going to the band that Status Quo, and they when they headbanging, they only started doing that because the crowd were doing it, and they thought it was a good idea, so they started joining in with the crowd.
they released one album in '71. It's the only one I don't have. Status Quo. I don't know why. And it's interesting because they started with a picture of the Matchstick Man '68. They evolved their style until what we know, Pile Driver and Caroline and all that stuff. Really like Status Quo. Really like '70s Status Quo.
Yeah, the one I showed last week, Mark Kelly's Greasy Spoon, was the first proper heavy album they done, and but it was Pile Driver, which was '72.
Yeah.
That really started the Quo machine going. So you can't wait till the '80s, can you, Steve?
I was going to say, actually, Michael, were you talking? Did I came in just? I thought I heard Babacom Lee being mentioned.
I did. I showed it. I showed Fairport Convention's Babacom Lee.
Would you like a fun fact about it?
I'm all ears, Stevie.
Okay, something you forgot to mention. It's a key fact that it was believed where he died, Babacom Lee. Now I live in Devon, somewhere near Dartmoor. On the other side of Dartmoor, there's a little town called Tavistock, and it's believed that he is suspected that he died in the what they called the Tavistock workhouse. And I've actually been there because you can come down the road and it's like this big old building, which was our workhouse. So it was like at the time of the poor laws. So if you were poor and you had nowhere to stay, you had to go in the workhouse and then bunk upstairs. It's like a 2-story. It's like a big building, and it's now a funeral parlor. So I've actually stood by where the Tavistock bunkhouse used to be, where it's believed that James Babacom Lee died. There you are. That's my fun fact on that LP.
Wasn't he released from prison when they couldn't successfully hang him?
Mhm.
Yeah, yes, but that's there's 2 theories. One, that he died in this town that's on the other side of Dartmoor called Tavistock, where there's this and there was lots of poverty around there. So I think there were a couple of workhouses, and I actually found the location of one in this big funeral parlor. I might take a picture of it. And there's another theory that he made it to the United States but it's believed that he died in this Tavistock workhouse.
All right.
He wasn't famous after they were unsuccessfully.
Well, I think he disappeared. He disappeared
Oh.
and wanted to sort of get on with his life. But then there was somebody claiming to be him in his sort of elderly age in the Tavistock workhouse, and he died there in poverty.
These days, they would have done a book tour, you know.
Well, I can be your guide for the for the workhouse. Anyway, so that's my fun fact because I researched that. I was looking into that album. Yeah, I was looking into that album, and I kept researching him, and then I thought, oh, well, he actually died quite near to where I am. So
yes. Anyway, the picture behind. I'm going to show the picture that's behind me today.
Twickenham.
Where that's taken.
Is that your high school?
No.
Milton Keynes.
No, and it's not Billing-Aquadrone.
I thought, yeah.
It's a West Indian cricket ground, is that?
It's not West Indies, no.
It's West Midlands.
It's abroad, though, isn't it? It's not English.
It's not English. It is a test ground.
Yeah.
Looks quite dry and arid.
Hey, Spain or
Is that the Elliot's driving school where Elliot teaches driving ed?
Mike, drop the word
it's on
west.
It's in the subcontinent. That part of the world. And I'm actually took that picture at a famous fort.
is that in
It's
Spain? No.
It's
No?
one of about 4 cricket grounds that's literally next to the sea. I think I've beat everybody this week.
Barcelona.
No,
No.
Can I buy a vowel?
Greece.
Subcontinent.
you can buy a
Subcontinent
vowel
is your
box.
clue.
I'd like to buy an O.
No,
Nope.
no.
A G, like
That's
Gibraltar.
not a vowel.
G,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
G's in it. Name of the actual city.
I'd like to buy an I, please.
Yes.
No.
It's an I in the name of the country I'm in.
GI.
Well, G is the name of the city, and I is in the name of the country. Well, it's an island.
Hmm.
So G in Italy somewhere.
No. He gave you a big clue. Subcontinent.
Well, when I flew. When I went there, I had to fly to Dubai first, and then catch another.
Okay.
We're not exactly the Mensa Society.
So if you've worked in Dubai airport, you'd have a good idea where it is.
Indonesia.
Oh, no, not that far.
Close. Oh, someone's got it.
Sri Lanka.
Yay.
Okay.
Well done.
Sri Lanka.
Yeah, that's in Sri Lanka, and that's in Gaul.
Hmm.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
I'll beat you all this week.
Oh,
Sometimes. Anyway, after all that,
yeah, what a
good
great
evening,
clue.
Elliot.
Hey,
After our little-
Have you got
Elliot.
a copy of Ram,
Oh,
Elliot?
Elliot.
Evening,
I
Elliot.
got one somewhere, I'm sure. Yeah.
Have you got any Todd Rundgren?
Runt came out in '71. I do have some Runt. I don't have that to show though.
No, you don't.
Anyway, I'm looking forward to this because you always bring some brilliant records to the
I
party.
don't know about brilliant. If I can say something very briefly, Ian, I would like to say something before I start showing records.
Okay.
I'm sad about the state of the vinyl community at the end of 2023. I'm sad because I lost a friend who was forced to leave the vinyl community because of a video that was posted that was very defamatory, and who didn't leave because he's thin-skinned or anything, but left because he's trying to start a career. And when accusations are made against him, totally unfounded, and piling on takes place in the comments, that's a shame. Parody videos are fine. It's some people's cup of tea and it's not others. But there's a line that can be crossed when it stops being good-natured or a difficult ribbing, but something we can all live with, and it starts affecting people's private lives and people's careers and so on and so forth. And I'm calling on the vinyl community as a whole to be better than that. Before you speak and before you type, think about if that's something you really want to say or something you really want to type. It is very important that we not take what is supposed to be something fun, the sharing of our hobby of vinyl collecting, and turn it into a competition to see who can drive who into the ground.
Yeah.
Now that I've said that, I appreciate you letting me say that, Iain. And I got pictures to show.
Yeah, before you do, Elliot,
Yeah, we all
I
agree
know
with
who you're
that.
talking about, and if you're in contact with him, just say to him he's more than welcome on this stream because we are more friendly and we will never, ever take the mickey out of people like that. We're not like that on here because if people do, they get thrown out straight away. It's simple as. So there is an olive branch out to him, Elliot.
Well
so
said, Iain.
Well, I mean, he wants a career. And if employer starts Googling, he wants a career. And if employer starts Googling to check background on somebody and they find a video, because we know if somebody takes something down, it's never really gone in the web, you know. And they find a video that is accusing that person of being a drug addicted person at this time, a heroin addict.
It's ruined them, isn't it? Yeah.
That's
Absolutely
ruined everybody. So,
well said, Elliot. So the stage is now yours to show some great records.
okay. I saw most of the show so far, but I haven't seen. I missed part of it doing some chores around the house and stuff. Has anybody shown this one yet?
Not yet, but you're the first.
Not yet.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
it's been mentioned, but not so.
Yeah, I saw somebody mention it in the comments. What a great album! The 71 was the height of the singer-songwriter era, I believe. I just glancing at that. It's got Morning is Broken, Moonshadow, and Peace Train, all on side 2 of this album. What a great album. And one of the first songs I learned on the guitar was that little riff in Peace Train.
Oh, that is a great riff.
Oh, yeah. How about this one? Has anybody mentioned this was 71?
No.
Oh.
Moody Blues.
I was thinking about it, but I didn't show it.
Yeah. Every good boy deserves a favor, and that's EGBD. Was it? It's the, I don't know. There's something there. Remind us in the comments, people. What is it stand for? I think it's for tuning your guitar or something, or tuning an instrument or something.
Yeah.
I always like the Moody Blues covers too. Now, as I said, this was the height of the songwriter era. Joni Mitchell's best album, most highly thought of album, would have to be Blue, I do believe. And that was 71 as well. The great Canadian artist. Out of Chicago, Steve Goodman, the man we lost way too soon to cancer. Steve Goodman, this is his debut on Bowie, I believe it was on. And if you know nothing else about Steve Goodman, he wrote The City of New Orleans, pitched it to Arlo Guthrie at a bar either before or after Arlo's show at a club in Chicago. Goodman walks up to him at the bar and he says, "I'm a songwriter too. I wonder if you'd be interested in hearing some of my songs. You might want to use one." And Guthrie had just gotten a beer from the bar. He says, "Well, you got till I finish this beer." So he quickly got his guitar out of the case and sat down at the table with Arlo. And the first song he sang him was The City of New Orleans. And so he had Arlo Guthrie, I suppose his biggest hit was City of New Orleans. And Goodman had his career starting. interestingly, his whole adult life, he was dealing with cancer. He had leukemia. His whole, like, he had to drop out of college because of it. From then on, he had it until he died in his, I'm thinking, late 30s or mid 30s. Shelter Records. One of you, a UK guy, Denny Correll, is it Correll? That came out of England, and Leon Russell put together Shelter Records. And this is the great debut from J.J. Cale, the Tulsa songwriter. Just looking at this one, it's got songs both he had some success with and others, but especially others. Call Me the Breeze, huge hit for Leonard Skinner. It's got on here, let's see, Magnolia, which I believe actually he had a hit with Magnolia. Clyde, which Waylon Jennings later took to great heights. Crazy Mama's on here. After Midnight, which Eric Clapton took. And of course, Clapton did several. He also wrote Cocaine that Clapton had a big hit with. But getting back to the great singer-songwriters, here we go. The debut album of possibly the best songwriter in the second half of the 20th century, John Prine. Awful cover. He is not, it gives you that feeling of that rural feeling. He was from Chicago. His parents,
like Chicago,
but he's from Chicago. He was a mailman in Chicago, a veteran, a U.S. Army veteran. Came back from service and started a job. He was carrying his mail from house to house. He thought up songs in his head, and then when he got home, he'd get the guitar out and work them out. This album is on Atlantic, 1971. Illegal Smile, Spanish Pipe Dream, which is a great song about a soldier who goes AWOL and meets a topless dancer, and they get married and have lots of kids. Hello in There, great poignant song about old age. Sam Stone, the ultimate song about the struggles of veterans coming back addicted to drugs. Paradise, about tearing up the mountains, the Appalachian Mountains, for coal. Your Flag Decal Won't Get You Into Heaven Anymore, one of the great song titles out there. And Angel from Montgomery, which Bonnie Raitt had great success with. It became the signature song for Bonnie Raitt in her live shows. So this is just unbelievable. If he never did but one album, and this was it, he did more than most artists could ever even dream of. But he did a lot after that as well. Sadly, lost him to COVID during the pandemic, and he's no longer.
That is.
So that's what I've got today.
Some great features earlier.
That's
why I like you coming on. You bring a different. We've all got this old hat, prog and rock.
Speak for yourself.
Which keeps Stevie happy because.
Yeah. I mean, it's been quite remarkable today because we've all shown quite a few records, and we haven't crossed over very much, and it's all brilliant stuff. And I'm sure we can think of some more that we haven't shown. Well, yeah, I mean, there's that one. That is the absolute classic, isn't it?
He wasn't watching.
Stevie, you remember that? No, serious question for you, Michael. Do you know the band Crack the Sky?
I don't.
You don't? Okay. That's Steve from All the Words of Stage. He's got a channel. He just mentioned that band. He said it's a progressive rock band from West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And they made a couple of albums similar to Steely Dan. And I never heard of that band. And since you might be familiar, you never heard.
I just know them by name.
Crack the Sky. Okay, we'll check it out.
Yeah, I will. I mean, of the prog bands, I mean, American prog bands, only Kansas comes to mind of that era.
Rush, if you take North America.
I don't.
Yeah. No.
No, America did with prog. They really come into their own with progressive metal, something like, you know, your Dream Theaters and your Fates Warning. They. But when it comes to proper prog, Michael's right. I'd say Kansas were probably the only proper prog band to come out of America.
How do you explain that? Because Gentle Giant, they had so much success in the US a couple of years after they had their. They were not like big successful in Europe, I think, or they were.
No, they were always the
Yeah.
almost rum bands.
Mm.
A lot of the bands, like Camel, you know, they were another band that were from that Canterbury scene as well. But yeah, so it's strange, isn't it? How certain American band, we've spoke about this before, where you've got Foghat, huge in America, did nothing here.
Yeah, it's a different sort of prog, though, isn't it, Ian? And I mean, I think the symphonic prog is very much a sort of not just UK, but UK and sort of Italy really took to the symphonic prog.
Yeah.
You know, it takes classical training. It's also expensive to do a prog band. I mean, the amount of gear that you need. I mean, a Mellotron alone back in those days was super expensive. So American bands just tend to be more basic, you know.
Yeah. I mean, they are more towards the sort of rock side of prog rock, don't they? Rather than the prog end. It's like punk, really. There's a big difference, I think, between American punk and British punk.
Yes.
You know, I think British punk has more of a sort of an attitude. It's more sort of rooted in sort of in society and within the sort of, you know, social comments. Whereas in the States, it tended more to be, well, just sort of rock music. I mean, I could be doing it complete disservice, but I find a lot of American sort of punk is sort of doesn't really float my boat. But anyway, that's another story.
It was kind of a response to disco American punk. That's my take on it. And disco was I think disco was bigger in the US than it was in Europe. I could be wrong.
I don't think so.
In Germany, I grew up in the 90s, and I remember in the German TV, and every Christmas, every New Year's Eve special, they made rebroadcast of the old 70s show, and disco was huge in Germany. I think they had Bonnie M, they had Moroder, which worked in Munich.
We had a lot of disco in the charts here.
I think, in the late 70s, my mother, she was born in 61, and she was crazy about disco. She had all this, that Bonnie M, Staying Alive, and European poppy stuff on the radio. And disco was huge, I think, in Germany, in Netherlands, in the 70s. Maybe not that much in the UK. I don't know. I wasn't born, but I think disco was a thing, big thing back then.
Oh, yeah, disco was big in the UK.
Very big.
Yeah.
I mean, you take the 90s. I sort of come on because I forgot to give Rocky his carrot. That's what he's mad at. You look at the American charts and the British charts in the early 90s. Over here in the UK, it was all Britpop. But in America, it was more soulful and dreary dance formation bands like Boys to Men and all that sort of nonsense. So that, you know, poles apart in music sometimes. And I don't understand how the Britpop bands didn't really make it in America, because they do love their love their guitar-based bands, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was more the four guys dancing didn't go down all that well.
I think there's a lot of factors. The radio stations and the record companies, and there was a lot of payola taking place in the US around that time, where people were basically bribing disc jockeys to play the music, And, you know, it wasn't just, it didn't always just come down to fan favorites and sales at the record stores. There were other factors that made one band more popular than the other. And, you know, and also like, there's only so much that people can absorb, you know? You know, it's like, I always use this example. It's like, you know, Japanese artists, their names are so difficult to remember. So you can only remember a couple of them, you know, and it's kind of, whose phone is going off?
Mine, it's an
Not
alarm.
mine.
It's mine, it's alarm to do with a
I
poll.
completely
Well,
lost my train of thought.
Not even the charts weren't even very accurate when they were calculating sales. Until they started doing the scanning the records with the bar scan, or whatever it's called, because it boiled down to calling a few stores and saying in select cities and towns and say, you know, what are your sales like this week? What's selling? What's not? And, you know, depending on whoever answered the phone or was in charge of receiving that, you're going to get a biased report. If they're real big heavy metal fans, they're going to think about all those heavy metal records they sold. And if Randy Travis outsold those heavy metal fans, they don't like country. They're not even going to mention, Randy Travis Storms of Life sold 28 copies on Tuesday or whatever. When they started doing that and basing it on that, they were shocked to see, for instance, in the U.S., how popular country music artists were, because in record sales, because they just were getting underreported forever. And then all of a sudden you're going, wait a minute, this artist and this country artist outsold my favorite rock band. How could that be? Or
I noticed that when I do my top 10 videos, when I like compare, you know, a great song, American song, does brilliantly over here and does nothing in its own country. Doesn't even get top 20.
It's strange, isn't it? But I'm thinking that there were similar sort of chart scandals in the UK, because the way that the UK charts were actually compiled was through sort of the chart return shops. So there were just sales in certain record shops dotted around the country would keep a record of what they sold each week, and then they'd return that to is it BRMB who did the charts. And it was meant to be a secret, sort of like who the chart return shops were, but all the record companies knew who they were, and they'd send people to these shops to buy their records back.
They would hype would hype an artist a release by shipping out all these records to the record stores, and they would say ship platinum, you know. and the problem was more than half of them sat on the shelf at the record store, and eventually they sent them back to the manufacturer, you know, the label, you know, to get a refund. And so there was some expression, ship platinum, return gold, you know, or something like that.
I think record companies are the biggest culprits as well. They'd have a couple of artists on their label. Now, they sometimes will not promote a great album, but promote an absolute howler that seems to go further up the charts, and the brilliant album. That happened a lot, where albums were not publicized properly by the record company. But how they were popular is because the fans wanted them. And it was the fans that got some of these albums. I mean, you take some of the great rock albums that didn't do as well as they should, and they're what we consider classics.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there was a sort of a really famous example of where sort of record company was really sort of caught out. And do you remember that talentless chancer called Jane McDonald? She was on a reality program. She was a sort of third-rate singer on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
And the program was really, really popular. And they got the idea that somehow she was really, she was going to be a really big artist. And she released an album, and they shipped absolutely thousands of these records out, and it just didn't sell because she was popular with people who watched the television program, but not popular with people who bought records.
Well, I imagine that's true in the UK and other European nations' TV shows, and I know it's true here in the US. American Idol in the US, and what are the other ones? There's 3 or 4, that are very popular. None of those artists have been able to get any kind of long-term traction. A few of them sold a lot of one record or something like that, but none of them have ever been able to take that success or being recognized from the TV show, not necessarily winning it, just being known from the show, being on. I think how many millions of people watched each episode, but few of them have been able to Clay Aiken, for instance, finished second, and Ruben, somebody finished, actually won it one year, about 20 years ago, when it first started. And Clay Aiken was able to, he had one record that sold really well. He was able to take a part on Broadway, play in a Broadway play for a while. And then he made some money, but he's never been able, he actually lives not too far from me, and he ran for the U.S. Congress one time about 6 or 7 years ago.
Wow.
Didn't win, but he ran. His popularity couldn't even get him elected to a
Yeah.
But nobody, I can't think of anybody. Well, there's maybe 1 or 2 that have been able to do it, but the vast majority just fizzle.
Yeah, I mean, we've had 1 or 2, haven't we, that have been famous. I mean, it's a girl band, isn't it? I can think, Girls Aloud and Little Mix.
Yeah, but the one that got me was when Hearsay won the All Stars.
Oh,
The band that comes second, Liberty X, were a better band, and in the end, when you look at their careers, Liberty X outsold Hearsay. Hearsay had 1 hit single and 1 hit album. Liberty X had gold albums and platinum albums. Not my cup of tea, but that you could tell they were better singers and better at the job. And how Hearsay won that, again, it's got to be fixed. I mean, the classic one here is over here when we had that X Factor. For about 5 or 6 Christmases, it was always guaranteed the #1 single at Christmas. Until a couple of DJs, I think in the East counties, decided they'd have this campaign to keep that record. And they put up Rage the Machine. And it got to #1.
Classic moment.
Yeah.
Even I'm not a great fan of Rage the Machine, but guess what? I went and brought that record.
Iain, do you remember on, I think it was Radio 5 Live, they featured Rage Against the Machine, and it's a classic one on YouTube. I think it's still there. So I was actually watching the radio video of it, and they said, okay, now we've got the Christmas number, it's Rage Against. They've promised not to swear. So Rage Against the Machine, they go into their thing, and then we're waiting for the crescendo, and the crescendo comes, and he's like faces front to the camera. He's going, "F you! I don't do what you told me," And they had to pull it off so fast, And I thought, well, that's a bit of rock and roll right there, because it's just like two fingers up to your X Factor and 2 fingers up to Radio 5 Live as well.
It's like Iron Maiden's Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter. That was more of a protest #1, wasn't it, as well? It just works. Give it to the power of the people, and sometimes the people do speak.
Yeah. I mean, Hearsay, that was outrageous, because that was like something like they did Bridge Over Troubled Water or something ridiculous, didn't they? And it was like the fastest selling record since God knows what. And, you know, one of the guys was a cleaner or something, you know, and like you say, the bit of a talentless bunch. It was just like hype, wasn't it? Ridiculous.
I think the bands that make it today are make it much more often when they just get on the road and grind it out night after night, starting at small clubs, building up a fan base, doing it themselves, putting out their own records and cassettes and CDs, and not cassettes.
Mike might know. Mike, you know a band called Sleaford Mods?
Yeah, I love Sleaford Mods.
Yeah,
and
you know their protege. I was thinking about this. Their protege. Was it the girl Billy No Mates?
Billy No Mates, yeah.
Yeah, she's absolutely fantastic, and I
She's
think
from Bristol, isn't she?
Yeah, I think she was on Bandcamp or something, and she does this sort of like. I was thinking she was almost like a Bjork or a Kate Bush. She does this sort of lyrical thing to camera with a backing track or whatever. It's like a performance dance as well, and I think she's absolutely wonderful. But the thing is, because there's no hype, I was thinking that there's a bit of talent, and she's just, unless she gets something going viral, she's going to be completely dead, you know, because she doesn't have any of this hype or backing, you know. And she's fantastic. I don't like Sleaford Mods that much, but I really like her. You know?
Well, actually, I love Sleaford Mods. I think they're absolutely brilliant.
They're a good laugh. I mean,
and apparently.
I was reading a review of them, and it was like, yeah, the one guy's on the vocals, and the other guy's on the pint and the laptop.
That's right. Yeah, he just during the gigs, he stands there drinking in front of his laptop,
and a bit of a dance, pressing return, and then has a drink.
Yeah. But UK Grim,
Mike.
UK Grim is
first time I saw them. The first time I saw them, there was a video. And they were doing like a promo outside a record shop. They started singing, and it turned into a fight. The video.
That's about it. But UK Grim is apparently Iggy Pop's album of the year.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, I think Michael will like one of their covers, because the cover, it's like the Marcel Duchamp urinal, but at the bottom it's just got Sleaford Mods, you know.
Yeah,
really.
I'll get it out, Stephen.
He's got it there. But yeah, I mean that's the point. I mean, their protege Billy No Mates, she's a really good like performance artist, and it's just like I could just see her going nowhere, and she got slated or something when she did a performance at Glastonbury, and it's just she's like turned her back on the limelight a bit. But you know, new artists like that, where you think, well, there's a genuine talent there, but I can't see it going anywhere unless you get some real sort of support or hype. Here we go. Take it away, Mike.
Yeah, so there you go.
Let's see.
Sleaford Mods. Sleaford Mods. Sleaford Mods.
They're not exactly a mod band, are they, Mike?
Not at all. No. They are TCR 12-inch single. Eaten Alive, and this is great.
A rich vein here.
Divide and Exit.
That's a good one. I like that one.
UK Grim and
show that UK. Show the UK Grim so that people can see what they look like. I think Michael Ricefield will love them.
Yeah, I'll. Yeah. That's a good picture of them.
Happy boys.
Michael, that's about as far away from Todd Rundgren as you're going to get.
It probably is, isn't it? Yeah, there they are again. So, yeah, I absolutely love them.
I thought you would. I had a hunch.
Yeah.
What kind of music does UK Grim play?
Yeah. This is the back cover, where they're relieving themselves up a dark alley somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know if you. What sort of music are they, Mike, for Elliot's benefit?
It's hard to say, really, because it's sort of that.
I would
all
say,
the music is sort of programmed into a laptop, so it's sort of quite sort of electronic. and then it's sort of
I would
basically
say,
sort of the lyrics are all, social commentary and swearing, basically.
yeah, it's a laptop and a pint, and the vocalist has got Tourette's, basically.
Yeah.
That's a hard one to picture. Like that.
I love that. I love their track. If you go on YouTube and that track, was it Job Center?
Yeah.
Live
There's so
performance of
many.
Job
I mean, some of their lyrics are really, really funny.
That Job Centre one's just sums
Yeah.
up. If you've ever had to deal with the British Job Centre, that song sums it up perfectly.
Is that like the unemployment?
Yeah.
Unemployment.
Great commentary, isn't it?
I don't think it sums up anyone that works in that thing. The DWP, that sums up them as well.
Oh yes, you've had dealings with those people, haven't you, recently?
Oh, God. Talk about hitting your head against a brick wall.
Yeah.
If you keep prevailing at these people, they do eventually click on and go, "Yeah, we're wrong."
They're always wrong. That's the beauty of it,
The thing is, they don't believe in old-fashioned communications like telephones or face-to-face. It's all done on emails and journals, and because the trouble is, you're all put under the same thing now. You still have to go into the journal, and I think it takes them 6 months to answer one question, and
Iain, I can't even get anybody in a business anywhere to answer an email, much less a phone call. Not an email. Just you might as well just be throwing it in the trash.
Yeah. There's no such thing now as a customer service center, is there? Of anything, you've got to send them a thing or do one of them robotic chats.
If you come
the
to
best
the
way to
Southwest,
get action is to go to their Instagram page and say something like, "I purchased this from this company, and they failed to respond to my repeated request for a refund," or something like that. And boy, they'll hop on it then, because they do not want anything negative on social media. But
we call that public shaming.
Call or an email, they don't care.
Yeah.
You want to come to the Southwest, Elliot, in the Southwest UK, Devon or Cornwall. You'll be going back in terms of customer service. You'll be going back like 100 years.
Yeah.
It's like what it was like in the Edwardian period in customer service. In fact, it's probably better in the Edwardian period.
No, these people are really lovely and friendly. I had a really good experience everywhere I went. We have to say, but the problem is with the younger people, they are afraid to pick up the phone. I can see myself. I wouldn't say anything what I do, but I'm a technical sales guy, and when I see engineer fresh from the school, they don't like to pick up the phone to talk with you, talking about their application, their needs. They prefer sending 20 emails back and forth.
And if they do answer a phone, they're on a script.
I'm 37. I'm not even an old guy who say that, but I can see young people who are 24, 22 years old. It's a nightmare. They don't. They are afraid to talk to you over the phone.
Yeah, they can, and then they can't do a natural conversation, can they? They have to work off a script. I mean, one of the conversations I had with the DWP, I said to this girl, I went,
"What's DWP? What is DWP?"
Department of Work and Pensions.
They look after the pensions and that. And I said, "Talk to me. Put your script, throw it behind your shoulder, listen to what I'm saying, and respond." I said, "That's called conversation."
Yeah.
I mean, you have to say these days when they say, "How can I help you?" You have to preface it saying, "Okay, what I'm really after today is some customer service." You don't say what you're after. You have to say first, "Well, what I'm really after is some customer service." As if to say, "Are you a dumb millennial, or do you know what I mean?"
Yeah, they just can't talk off script, can they? It's hilarious.
Yeah, but sometimes I won't blame those people if it's not their fault. I already went to an interview to sell software, and the guy was sitting in front of me, said, "Hey, I don't like salespeople." Okay, so this is the script. You have to read without any discrepancy. You have to go to the customer and you have to read exactly what is written. say, no, this is not how I figure out my job. This is not what I would do. So, please,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. I think you're right. It's not that these people choose to be like that. It's that their managers tell them that's how they should be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, or you do the thing is, do this. Part of your interview now is to do a video presentation.
Oh,
Shall I lighten the mood with a quiz?
Yeah, go on then.
All right. Okay. Quick quiz. Some recent purchases. Make me big. Make me big.
I hope the rest of the panel are ready for this.
Okay. What's the single and which single was it of theirs?
Nobody's Diary.
only
No.
you.
No.
Don't
Second,
go.
I think it's the second one.
On the second album.
Second single.
That's on the Upstairs at Eric's.
Don't go.
No.
Jesus. I should have put this as the difficult one, shouldn't I? All right, I'll let you off. It's Other Side of Love.
Oh,
It's the one. It's the one after Don't Go, I think. Right. Okay. Here's. So you don't think I'm into prog? This is my prog credentials, right? Okay. So, who narrated this? Come on, you're supposed to be prog people. Jesus.
Patrick Stewart.
I don't know. Brian Blessed.
I'll give you a clue. This is me. This is
No,
me talking.
no, it's Robert. No, it's Roger
William
Daltrey.
Shatner.
It was Roger Daltrey.
Roger Daltrey.
That's the only reason you've got
The
it.
sheet metal worker.
Yeah. Okay, the next one is really, really difficult. Okay. So I want you to tell me what format this vinyl is, right? Whether it's an album, single, 10-inch, 12-inch, what format it is, what the title is, okay? And if I'll give you a quick flash after that, if you get that, of the back to tell me what band it is, all right? So I want the format, I want the title of the song, and which band it is. Okay, you ready? This is really, really difficult. You ready?
Yes.
No, it's quite like image.
What format is this in?
It's a 12-inch single.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a 7-inch
The
single.
song is 12-inch, and the band
Okay.
is single.
Phil.
Okay, it's clue in the band.
Yeah.
What single is it?
12-inch single.
No, it's public image.
Is it Rise?
It is Rise. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
ooh.
Rise. Just on the. I don't know if you can see that. And that's. I only bought one other thing. This is for Rob Walker. I bought that one. It's not the double. It's a single.
Lovely.
I cracked a joke. It's on the back. It says pops and clicks. It says pops and clicks on first side on each side, priced accordingly. So I went up to the guy and I said, "Oh, pops and clicks. That was one of their famous tracks, wasn't it? Absolute Silence."
A joke.
Charity shop, not a record store, Stephen.
And why do I buy these? Because they're all poly-lined. This is the cheapest poly-lined sleeves you get. They're all second. They're all really, really clean.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
that's good. Yeah.
I keep
Quid for
buying it.
that.
I've got about 40 of these. They're all poly-lined sleeves for a quid. 20 for a quid. Anyway, that's my purchases this week. Thank you.
I haven't got any. I'm not buying records at the moment because I've been told not to. Because I know I've got some records for Christmas.
I sold at a record show. I believe you guys call it a record fair over there in the UK. I sold at a record show Sunday, and I ended up buying. It was a success. I sold 34 records, and I only bought 25. So I
Yeah.
a little less than I went with.
Slimming the collection down.
Yeah, slowly,
Yeah.
very slowly.
It's when you buy more than what you've actually sold, you got to worry, haven't you? Really?
And I was sweating it there for a while because I had the 25 records I bought, and I hadn't sold 25 yet when I bought them. So
Oh, a bit of a sweat.
somebody came through at the very end and bought up 3 or 4 or 10 more, so something like that. So
Yeah.
How are
Yeah.
you looking if you're going to show any more records there, Michael? It looks like you're.
I have I purchased some records this week. They're kind of like an out of Michael experience.
What was
I
that?
spent 14 US on these three. I never owned anything like this before. The Crusaders, I believe it's all instrumental.
Oh, lovely.
oh, that's not a jazz band.
Our instrumental band.
Got
Yeah.
fantastic reviews in all music. I mean, typically what I'm doing right now is when I'm in a store, I don't know what something is, I'll just go to all music. And if it's got 5 stars on both sides, on both the reviewers and the public, I'll pick it up. This is reggae. I have no reggae in my collection. And unfortunately, this was done in '92, and I'm told this is dance hall music. Do you know anything about this?
No.
This
Yeah,
I got-
I've heard that.
it's a
Oh,
def-
I don't know him. What year is it? Is it
92.
80s or 90s?
92.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Look at this label. It's like
Wow.
handmade.
It's quite modern for you, Michael.
It is
Yeah.
And then I got one more, kind of jazzy. This is Larry Coryell and Stefan Grappelli.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah.
old Django Reinhardt. So getting out of my comfort zone here. It's it's not it's hard to breathe because it's not Todd Rundgren, but I'm trying to expand my horizons. Being part of this vinyl community is learning about new music, and you meet interesting people.
Who are the other players on that album? besides-
The other players are Stefan Grappelli. Why don't I see this? Oh, I'm sorry. Philip, Catherine, Niles Henning, and Orsted Peterson.
well, Philip Catherine, he played with Focus for a little while.
Really?
He took over when Jan Yachterman left. Yeah, he's a good.
I could have a winner here then.
Yeah, Phil Catherine's a very good guitar player.
Stefan, in his later years, man, he played with a lot of people.
Kind of like Papa John Creech.
Yeah.
Bad analogy?
Different sound, but both violinists. Yeah.
Yeah. Who played with a lot of different types of bands.
Yeah. Yeah.
Out of their zone.
I think that's great when musicians do that. They get asked to play on the people's stuff, and that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, who would ever thought that when Eddie Van Halen started, he'd be asked to do a guitar solo for Michael Jackson?
Was that Beat It?
Yes.
Beat It. Yeah.
And he wasn't even credited. He say, I only need a keg of beer or something.
He didn't want to be credited, did he? Apparently.
I
No.
wouldn't have.
He probably knew something, didn't he?
Yeah.
Just as well, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's a great solo from Eddie Van Halen on that track.
Yeah.
You ever heard of the stereo guitar?
No.
Did Eddie Van Halen played some? It was invented by a guy. It was a Kramer guitar, invented by a guy named Steve Ripley out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and each string has its own channel to create a stereo, and you can separate it into, put it in different spots and everything. I don't think it ever really caught on, but it was a interesting innovation, and Eddie Van Halen was the first one to use it, I think, in a recording.
You should mention it to George Borton. He might know something about it.
Yeah, actually, he does. He told me it was the Kramer guitar. I knew about Steve Ripley. Steve Ripley, a little bit later, had a band called the Tractors, and had some country hits and sold a lot of records. They just did one album. It was like one-off album from the Tractors. Was really very popular, sold a lot, but he didn't keep the band together. He was more into production and developing maybe instruments, amps, and things like that. So he was in the area where you make some money in music, not the area where you lose money, trying to play on the road and stuff.
Yeah, I watched three good documentaries on Sky this week about the greatest riffs. One was done by Tony Iommi, one was done by Andy Summers, and the other by Nancy Wilson. My favourite out of the three was actually Andy Summers. And you found out the love that he was a big George Benson fan and the way that George plays guitar. So he went and met him, and then they discovered they both loved Wes Montgomery.
Oh.
And that's where sort of Andy said he got a lot of his ideas from listening as a kid, listening to Wes Montgomery. Apparently, some of the riffs in "Message in a Bottle" that came from and "Working on the Moon." They're just sort of ideas that he took from Wes Montgomery. It was fascinating, and what an underrated guitarist I thought Andy Summers was. He never got
Definitely
the praise that he deserved. He was an incredible riff maker.
Didn't he go on to do, or was that the drummer? Which one went on to do a lot of soundtrack work, movie soundtrack work?
I think they've both done a lot. I mean, that was a great band, wasn't it? You got one of the most technical drummers and one of the most technical
brilliant
guitarists.
drummer.
Stuart Copeland is just. I think I've watched a couple of his he does like these little short videos, and he was showing how he did the drumming for "Message in a Bottle." I think I've seen people try and play it, but the way he plays it, how he hits the hi-hat, it's totally out of signature from everything else that's going on. And people forget that he was in Curved Air. That's where he cut his mustard, with the Curved Air onto the Police. And the Nancy Wilsons were good. So
yeah, I mean, the Police that had one of the best guitar players, one of the best brilliant drummers, and Sting,
and the French member 2 months.
yeah.
And Sting was the most arrogant lead singer, right?
Yeah.
The one that was most into tantric yoga /sex.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, him and his missus. Yeah.
Gave Teachers a bad name too with that song.
Yeah. But I think the real riff that I really love from is the "Walking on the Moon" riff. It's just and the drumming from, I think that record is all about Stuart and Andy. Forget Sting, forget that. Okay, it's a reasonably good bass line, but it's the percussion and the guitar work that makes that record, and that's why it's one of the greatest. Yeah, there's another bit. Andy Summers. Oops. Andy Summers played with Soft Machine as well. I didn't know that, but there you go.
All right.
Yeah, there were really good programs. I mean, even the one with Tony Iommi was good because there was him and his mate Brian May riffing together. Two of the greatest riff thing.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting called. I'm gonna have to head on out of here. Enjoyed the visit.
Right.
Everybody take care and remember.
Nice to meet you,
Let's
Elliot.
make this a
Bye-bye.
positive 2024, and let's everybody be kind and
Yeah.
remember, treat people like your neighbor. We're all neighbors, folks.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Love you,
Yeah.
Elliot, and take care, and we'll see you
All right.
soon.
We're all
Thank
good
you.
here, Elliot.
Yeah.
Okay. See you,
Take care.
Elliot.
Take care. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. What was about? I've totally off track after Elliot's closing speech.
Yeah.
Just talking about riffs, like the "Message in a Bottle" is my favorite. And do you know that video? There's the Police "Message in a Bottle," and they've got John Mayer. I think it was Live Earth in 2008. There's a video. There's John Mayer, brilliantly played with Sting, and then Kanye West comes on and basically wrecks the whole thing with a rap in the middle of it. But it's still a brilliant,
Yeah,
rendition
I can't
video.
remember who said it, but another guitarist said that riff in Messages in a Bottle is an open riff. It keeps going round and round and round. It's got no end. And to play that constantly for 3 or 4 minutes, and keep it at the same tempo, just proves what a great guitarist Andy was.
I think there was some conjecture about the kind of songwriting credits or something, and he had to challenge that, but in the end he did get royalties because the riff is kind of like such a significant thing in the song thing.
I mean, what wasn't there another thing with Every Breath You Take, that the sample was sold sort of behind his back, basically.
Yeah, something like that.
There was a big hoo-ha about that. I remember reading at the time that Andy Summers put in an article. He says it's disgusting that I wrote that riff. I come up with the idea, and it didn't come out of doing 2 minutes. It's a case of that had been in my head for years, and it was just finding the right time to use it. And this person comes along and steals it and doesn't even ask, and that really got his go.
Yeah.
And it's a bit like, was it PM Dawn? He sampled from Spandau Ballet's True. And I think the Kemp brothers weren't having any of it either. And of course, the big one was Vanilla Ice, nicking John Deacon's bass line from Under Pressure.
Yeah.
Didn't he buy the rights to the song or something after that? I think because they covered the song or something, he was going to get sued, and I think he borrowed some money, and it was cheaper for him to buy the rights to the song or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right, Stevie. And then Queen just,
and then he made a fortune.
Yeah. I mean, the music industry is sort of full of these sort of stories of people sort of stabbing each other in the back. And I can think of Boomtown Rats. I don't like Mondays. But Geldof for years sort of claimed that he was the sole writer of that song.
Yeah.
And of course, it's a piece made for piano, and it was Johnny Fingers. And I think it took years and years for him to get any credit for that.
There's so many records, but there's sometimes they play, and what they do, when they repress a record, they actually credit the person. I mean, a classic example was on one of the modern Yes albums. They used a little bit from a piece that was written, I think, by Francis Monkman and Jeffrey Downes. And I think Francis, this was before Francis died, of course. And he went, hold on a minute. I wrote that. And he wrote, got in contact with Jeffrey. And then Jeffrey says, of course you did. He says, and then all of a sudden, they changed that there are albums that it's not got Francis Monkman credited, but they changed it. And that no money was exchanged. And that's all Francis wanted was
just the recognition.
The recognition. And that's how gentlemen do business. Don't need to go to court. Just sort it out. Just add someone's name to it. Give them the credit they deserve. But hey ho. But I think with that was going back to Vanilla Ice. I think the Queen and State were laughing on the way to the bank over that, because I think take off.
Okay, Marius. Have a good night. We'll catch you next week, Marius.
Yeah, so I think they knew that they charged him such a phenomenal fee for it, and he paid for it. And it was still cheaper than going to court.
It's amazing, isn't it? You know, when you goes to court, the only winners are the lawyers, aren't they?
Oh God, they
Oh,
always
yes.
are, aren't they?
There is two different lawyers. There is the one who knows about the laws, and there is the one who knows the judge.
Yes, that's absolutely true. Anyway, folks, coming up to 2 hours 20 minutes.
Just before you go,
Yes.
Just before you go.
just make me bigger, say.
Make you big. All right, there we go.
Just to point out that Billy No Mates, she's got two names. So Billy No Mates, and there's her albums and thing on Discogs. But her real name is Tor Maries, and she's got a couple of things. I think she's going under that name now. So it was Billy No Mates, but now it's Tor Maries. So just to point that out.
Yeah, good.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Before we do go,
Yes.
of course, we need to do the thumbnail, which was, of course, Stevie's idea. So he gets
Got to be, hasn't it?
I have to change.
Yeah, I'm going to go with.
Should I take the nameplates off? Do you think I should take the nameplates off of this?
Yeah, I would.
Just to be on the safe side.
Yeah.
I'd like your counsel.
3, 2, 1. There we go.
Okay, wonderful.
Wunderbar.
Steve has to take the credit for that. Stevie does. That's his idea. So
I want the royalties because it's a major part of the show now. You know?
Yeah, it really is. Anyway, once again, thank you very much for the gallery, for all their comments, and as ever, thank you for Elliot coming up tonight. It's always great seeing Elliot. Thank you to Renaud. No, just that again, Ramon.
No problem.
Ramold, how do you say your name, Ramold?
Romuald.
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 Romuald. Yeah.
No,
Got it.
Romuald.
Le Coujemel commence.
With a D.
With a D. Yeah.
Entente cordiale.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, my wonderful panel.
Right, bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Good night.
care.
all.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
God bless. God bless.